Happy Monday, April 6th. This is ELA lesson 14. We're here in my makeshift classroom until we figure out where we're going to be. So, our agenda for today is the do now, vocab, week 3 words. We are finally getting to our reading book for the remainder of the year, Promises to Keep, and we will be working on independent work which focuses on features of a biographical text. My quote of the day is, take life day by day and be grateful for the little things. Don't get caught up in what you can't control and focus on the positive. That is, I think, really important for us to remember in these times. We cannot control a lot of what's going on. We can't control when we go back to school. We can't control when we can go outside and enjoy social time again. We can't decide what is going to happen next. We don't know. We can't see it. So let's focus on the little things, the positivity, the fact that we actually are able to keep learning and be social in a virtual way. Next week we're going to, or not, next week you have spring break, but the week after that we're going to actually be doing some smaller groupings, longer classes, so we'll be able to have more virtual socializing. And so that's better than, being alone in your room. You get a window into other people's lives and to talk. So there's always something positive, as I think there's a quote, there's always a flower blooming if you look. Like there's always a way to make it positive. This slide is your do now. You're going to be working on claims of evidence this week in do nows on informational text. This is actually about technology. And don't forget the short answer, so you can pause and answer and then press play. Vocabulary week 3, we have 7 words again. Biographical, when you're dealing with a person's life. A perspective is a particular attitude or way of regarding. To elaborate, sometimes I ask you guys to elaborate if your sentence is if your answer is a little too short, if it's not deep enough. I'm asking you to elaborate. I want more details and development. To characterize is to describe the nature of something. To acknowledge is to accept or recognize. Cause is a person or thing that gives rise to an action, like what is the cause of something. And prominent means important, famous, and catches attention. So Jackie Robinson would be an example of somebody prominent in the civil rights and sports realms. So this purple slide is going to always be in our slideshows and presentations. This is going to have the essential question, and it's going to have the objectives, the things that I want to make sure we know by the end of this lesson. So my essential questions are also behind me. Who is Jackie Robinson? Why is he important? Why is he prominent? What are the features of a biographical text, and how do they help us understand a person? So by the end of this lesson, and proved in your independent work, you should be able to describe features of a biographical text, draw inferences about Jackie Robinson from the photographs and the introduction, and determine the meaning of words and phrases. You're going to need Post-it notes and your copy of the book. There's also a PDF in the material section, but everybody should have a copy. So before we get into the book, I want to make sure everybody is clear on what is a biography. So take a minute in your journals to stop and jot, what is a biography? A biography is perhaps about a person's life. Could be a movie about a person's life, a book about a person's life. A song could be a biography of a sort. Some of us might be jotting down, it's a famous person. A lot of biographies are out there and written about famous people because people just are interested in their life and what made them the way they are. But even if you sat down and wrote about yourself, that would be an autobiography. So it doesn't just mean famous, but that could have been an idea. Bio means life, and graph means to write. So it's like writing about someone's life. So I've added some features of a biography here. We have self-written, which would be like the Michelle Obama book on the top left. On the bottom left, you have an example of the divisions in a biography. They're divided into chronological sections. That means they go in order. So in this example, it's of Pablo Picasso and it's the post-war era. So his life in a certain time period. Top right, you have timelines. This is huge in biographies, and you do have multiple of them in the Jackie Robinson book. Timelines are awesome because you can kind of see the lineage or how it's like linear and in order in terms of time. And then lots of biographies, especially this one, have pictures, snapshots of important moments in the person's life. So Stop and Drop here. How do these features help you better understand a text? So if you're learning about somebody and it has sections and timelines and pictures, how do those things help you better understand a text? Take a minute to stop and jot. Pause, write, and then press play. So we're going to take some notes on the cover. Take a Post-it note and jot down what you notice on the cover of the book and then place it on the cover. Take a couple seconds. What do you notice? So here's my example. The author has Robinson as the last name. Is the author related to Jackie? So as you flip through, take 2-3 minutes, jot down anything you notice, anything you can infer, which is judgment based on fact. Jot down a question, anything you're wondering about. Maybe you noticed timelines, pictures, key civil rights leaders, family photos, maybe a section title jumped out at you. Be detailed and add any notes in your journal, in a Post-it. They'll be reflected on later. So you could pause and do that and then press play. I'm now going to read the book aloud, starting 6 and 7. I'm just going to do the introduction for today. Have your Post-its ready. You're going to click play on this, and then I'm going to continue this overview, but you're going back to watch me read. After you're done reading, I have added a different style of independent work. This is how we're going to do independent work for the rest of the e-learning year. So even though we're going to have some schedule changes, this is always what you're going to see for ELA. And I go over each specific piece in this video. So if you ask me a question about something I said in the video, I'm going to refer to the video. Make sure you do that. Okay, so you're going to do independent work. Then you're going to find this little question mark in your folder under classwork for lesson 14, and it's your exit ticket. I ask one question and you jot down the answer, type it in for your exit ticket. So how do you know you're done? I've completed the do now. I've written vocab in my journal. I have a Post-it on the cover of my book. I have Post-its inside 6 and 7. I have listened while Miss Patrick read 6 and 7 and jotted notes. I have completed the Google Doc labeled independent work, and I have turned in the independent work and the exit ticket. Have a wonderful Monday, and let's get started on a wonderful week.